Deep Gap, a serene haven nestled amidst the Blue Ridge Mountains, verdant slopes, whispering pines, and a sky so clear it mirrored the soul. But beneath the idyllic facade, a darkness festered. The Boras family, once a beacon of grace, now stood as a testament to despair. Their story, a tragedy, unfolded against this breathtaking landscape. The air, crisp and clean, carried the scent of pine and damp earth. The sun cast long shadows across the valley, concealing the darkness. The silence, broken only by rustling leaves and a distant hawk, was heavy with unspoken truths. The Boras family home, perched atop a gentle rise, overlooked the town like a sentinel. Once a sanctuary of laughter and love, it now stood as a monument to shattered dreams. The white picket fence, once a symbol of domesticity, now caged the family's secrets. The porch swing swayed gently, a haunting reminder of happier times. Deep Gap mourned, its idyllic facade crumbled, revealing the fragility of peace. The Boras family. Their name was synonymous with piety, their lives a testament to faith. Patriarch Samuel, a deacon, was a man of stern conviction. His wife Martha dedicated her life to her family and faith. Their children Caleb, Tristan, and Bethany each bore the weight of their upbringing. Their home was a sanctuary of prayer, their days punctuated by scripture and hymns. Beneath the veneer of piety, cracks began to appear. Tristan, the troubled middle son, became the epicenter of the family's anxieties. His once bright eyes, now clouded with melancholy, reflected a torment deeper than imagined. Caleb, the elder brother, embodied his father's stoicism, but harbored resentment. He excelled in his studies, his achievements a source of pride, yet felt the burden of normalcy. The pressure to compensate for Tristan's darkness weighed heavily upon him. Tristan's descent was a gradual unraveling. His once fervent faith waned, replaced by gnawing doubt. The rigidity of his upbringing became a prison. He found solace in the solitude of the surrounding woods. He devoured books that challenged his beliefs, his mind soaking up alternative perspectives. His grades plummeted, his personality dimmed. His parents, alarmed, sought solace in prayer, attributing his behavior to the devil. Their efforts only served to alienate him further. Tristan, lost and alone, spiraled further into the abyss. The trial of Tristan Boras sent shockwaves through Deep Gap. The courtroom crackled with tension, the air thick with anticipation. The prosecution painted Tristan as a troubled young man driven to the brink. They presented a narrative of premeditated violence. The defense countered with a plea for understanding, arguing mental illness. Psychiatrists painted a complex picture of Tristan's mental state. Some spoke of severe anxiety and depression, others of cunning and manipulation. The jury, a microcosm of Deep Gap, listened intently. The weight of their decision was evident in their somber expressions. The lines between faith and doubt, sanity and madness, blurred. The verdict echoed through the courtroom like a gunshot. Guilty. A collective gasp filled the room. Tristan Boras was found guilty of the crime that shattered the town's peace. Justice, it seemed, had been served. But for the Boras family, the verdict marked the beginning of a long journey through grief and guilt. Samuel crumbled under the weight of his son's actions. Martha retreated further into herself, her silence a testament to her pain. Bethany's innocence was forever tainted by her brother's crime. The town grappled with the unsettling realization that darkness could lurk even in the most hallowed places. The tragedy cast a long shadow over Deep Gap. The once vibrant town now bore the weight of unspoken truths. The church became a battleground for conflicting emotions. Some clung tighter to their faith, others found their faith shaken. The tragedy exposed the fault lines within the community. The Boras family became objects of both pity and scorn. The weight of judgment pressed down upon them. The children of Deep Gap were forced to confront the darkness. The tragedy became a cautionary tale. The idyllic bubble of childhood had burst, leaving behind fear and uncertainty. Faith's crucible, doubt, dogma, and the search for meaning. Deep Gap grappled with profound questions of faith and doubt. The bedrock of their belief system had been shaken. The church became a microcosm of the community's struggle. Sermons rang hollow. The pastor grappled with his own doubts. Some sought refuge in dogma, Others questioned their beliefs. For some, the tragedy became a catalyst for spiritual growth. They wrestled with their doubts and emerged with a deeper understanding. For others, the tragedy proved too much to bear. Their faith crumbled, leaving behind a void. Scars of silence. The Boras family's unspoken truths. A heavy silence descended upon the Boras household. The tragedy exposed the fault lines within their relationships. Samuel retreated further into himself, his silence punctuated by anger and despair. Martha's grief was a private affair, her silence a tangible presence. She moved through her days with robotic efficiency. Bethany became an unwitting observer to her family's implosion. Her childhood was irrevocably altered. The family, once bound by faith, now existed in separate spheres of grief and guilt. The unspoken truths festered beneath the surface. Beyond the verdict, the long road to forgiveness and healing. The guilty verdict marked the beginning of a long journey toward healing. The scars of the tragedy ran deep. For the Boras family, the road to healing was fraught with obstacles. Samuel struggled to find meaning in his pain. Martha's silence was a barrier to reconciliation. Bethany yearned for normalcy. Caleb wrestled with his anger and guilt, seeking a way to forgive Tristan. The community of Deep Gap embarked on a journey of healing. Amidst the grief and doubt, there were flickers of hope and a shared desire to move forward. Epilogue. Deep Gap's reckoning. Years passed. Deep Gap bore the scars of its tragedy. The Boras family sought solace in fragmented paths. Samuel found solace in quiet contemplation. Martha dedicated her life to charitable works. Bethany left Deep Gap seeking a fresh start. Caleb became a lawyer, advocating for those failed by the system. Deep Gap underwent a transformation, embracing vulnerability and fostering community. Tristan's name became a catalyst for difficult conversations about mental health and empathy.